What is interesting with insolvency practitioners, and it's probably because we call ourselves insolvency practitioners, although we badge ourselves business rescue and insolvency, there is a natural nervousness to come and consult us because of the I word and the insolvency word. And almost at that stage, people are thinking, if I have to talk to an insolvency practitioner, I'm in real trouble. But they shouldn't fear, and we work our hardest to try and solve people's problems without going down the full insolvency route.
I think it's when you feel you're losing control. It's where creditor pressure is dictating decisions rather than maximising profit. Perhaps a slightly earlier stage is where you're running the business for cash flow rather than maximising profit.
In a perfect world, they'd pick the phone up sooner than they do. That means there's a wider scope for us. It depends very much on the individual business what we can do. If we identify that there's a link missing in the management structure or a weakness, we might be able to, if we're early enough, bring in one of our turnaround interim managers. We don't run, but we have access to a network of interim turnaround managers. And these people come from a wide range of backgrounds. Some have been involved in big business, some have worked for themselves, some have been bankers, some accountants, but they all have particular skills. And if we can marry one of those skills to the need in the business that's losing its way early enough, they can often pull that round. They may still need some restructuring, which can only be achieved through an insolvency process of some sort alongside that. But that's one of the main things we could do if we get in early enough.
For many years I've been in this, and if only people would be prepared to talk to us sooner rather than leave it till they've got 1 foot over the cliff. There are lots of things that we can do. We've got tools that we can try and give them a break from their creditors for up to 5 years sometimes, you know, and the revenue will also go along with that, but clearly there has to be a fundamentally viable business for that to happen. Well, I try and look after them and make it as soft a landing as we possibly can. You know, it's a traumatic time that most of them have never been there before, and most of them have never been there with any intention. So generally, it's trying to guide them through something that they're completely unfamiliar with.
Is it tough when it's a family business?
It is. It impacts on a lot of people that you wouldn't think so. Director has probably struggled with the knowledge that his business is suffering and frightened to go home because he's the breadwinner of the family, and try and break it to wife, etc., etc. Some understand. There have been occasions where wife completely doesn't understand, and it causes problems that way as well. So
you quite often have an accountant or someone will phone up and say, I've got a client who's got a bit of trouble, or the client may phone up themselves and say, I think I want to do a company voluntary arrangement, and you're chatting away to them for half an hour or so, trying to extract information from them, and then they suddenly produce a winding up petition out of their desk drawer that is due for hearing at the county court next Friday. So that is the level of non-admission that people have. You know, they are in deep poo-poo when they get to that point. And if you've got a winding up petition, there are not many options. There's a few options, but not many. If you come to us the day before you've got the winding up petition, there'll be a lot more options. If you come a few months before that, there's a lot more options. So people are in denial. It's probably part of the British psyche, really, the stiff upper lip, I suspect. I would say that they should come and talk to us at an early stage. I mean, you know, either, as I said before, you know, if their accounts show that there's a hole coming up, or if their overdraft is constantly up against the limit and they're just sort of fighting the whole time. I would say they should come and talk to us as soon as they feel they're in trouble, honestly feel as they're in trouble or might be in trouble. We're insolvency practitioners, we see these situations hundreds of times a year, and we understand the position and we understand what they ought to be doing about it. They probably haven't a clue because it's the first time that they've got into trouble and they don't know. They don't understand the issues. And I would say that often our best advice is our free advice. When people do come in at an early stage, they have a 2 or 3 hour chat with us. It may end up being a 2 or 3 day chat, but they go away and they learn and they fix the problem and we never hear from them again. And I think that's some of the things we do best, and it's what people really ought to be happy picking up the phone to one of us just to have a chat, really.